Hello, 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 hello. It's your good friend, Wild Philosopher, here once more to remind you that gnomes are real. Tonight we have my very first solo stream. My co-host is busy. He's not available to join us, but I did not want to leave you hanging 2 Thursdays running. So tonight I'm just going to be streaming a video game, not for long. I suspect this will only be an hour-long stream. And as I stream, I'm just going to, do some philosophizing, mostly about the objects we're looking at. Shouldn't be, well, I would say it won't be too exciting. But yeah, just a relaxing stream. So this is, wrong link. This is my favorite game, Starbound. As you can see, I am in the starting ship. My computer was destroyed last week, which means that, let me turn down some of the volume here. My computer was destroyed last week, and as a consequence, I do not have any. All my progress was lost. All my ships were destroyed. Oh, I'm still coming through. Yeah, so you can see the messages that I have not. I think I picked up a single. I popped down a little bit earlier. I think I picked up a single cotton seed. Alrighty, we've picked up a sapling. You always want to put these back down. Practice your climate ethics, right, guys? No, that's a joke. But yeah, treat your trees well. Lovely little things, trees. Get some wood. So Starbound 2D platformer game came out a decade ago. It is my personal favorite. I have probably several thousand. Well, I think I have 1,000 or so hours formally registered, but probably about twice that if we're talking about the actual amount of time I've played the game. Because a lot of that was offline. So yeah, you're going to want to grab items very similar to Minecraft in many respects. One little cobblestone. It's been ages. I'm trying to remember if I need what I need. Most of my video clips are from later on characters. Yeah, do some mining. You can sort of see. I've been told this is similar to Terraria. I have never played Terraria. I have, however, played Minecraft, and I kind of prefer this over Minecraft, if I'm being honest. I like traveling around alien planets. It's fun. It's a very relaxing game, which is why you will notice that so many of my videos that I record are just me playing Minecraft. Not like Starbound. Ritual, I guess you could say. Very important part of philosophy, that. Because I promised you guys philosophy. I think Zhu Gan talks about how one of the most important parts of his philosophical education as a Confucian scholar was dancing with his compatriots under the light of the moon. In his balanced, I believe it's the Balanced Discourses. Beautiful, beautiful work, that. Probably one of my favorite works of Confucian philosophy. It's a shame it's so obscure. So we want an inventor's table next. we will use this to produce all of the machinery needed to do stuff in Starbound, basically. On the machine built. Forget about it. It's like that. As I said, chop down your trees. Boom, boom, boom. Not die to random monsters. It's a bit of a shame actually having to fight that. That one's a nice rare one. You can collect the skins. I lost a lot of them when I lost my account last week. Absolutely tragic. No. Okay. Yeah, sequence. These things happen. All right. So, go down into the earth for a moment. So, let me put that. Because I guess if you guys are only looking at my screen, I want it to be in the dark. Alrighty. Alrighty then. Oh yeah, I suppose that would help. At the light. Alrighty. To be honest, I've been kind of hoping to do this type of stream at a more developed stage, because then I can show you more stuff when it comes to Starbound and philosophy chillin' in Starbound. But it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I just bungled horribly there. Oh well. Totally forgot I was supposed to be saving those. But okay. Alrighty, come night, we are going to be swarmed by monsters, so let's see if we can't get a little more gear just before then. Unlike Minecraft, you cannot sleep through the night. I know in Minecraft you can just set up a bed. Starbound, you have to fight through it. Always fun, that. These are all crafting stations. Probably a lot to talk about when it comes to Starbound and, what would you call it, craftsman ethics. A lot of interesting reflections on that. It's certainly a peripheral area to my interest. I believe I've spoken on this chat before about my abiding belief that we have all too ambivalent an attitude to objects in the West. As weird as that may sound, like this is going to be a generalization and therefore false in an immense number of practical circumstances, but generically, Western philosophy for the last 200 years or so has seen a sort of divide between subject and object, a divide that collapsed in the 60s, but I don't think we've moved past that yet to something more practical, at least not as a mass. I certainly have my own ideas, but I am just cooler than everyone, he said right before dying. But yeah, we tend to see object and subject divided, and we tend not to see the object as something worthy of, how would you say, inherent or even general dignity. To some extent, of course, this is entirely understandable because objects aren't people. but I do think it can go, it can easily go too far. And to be honest, I think that sort of implicit contempt lies behind a lot of modern day practical crises. Right? Like why people they think they don't have to treat objects with respect or in a proper fashion. And then the outcome of that is, look at our junkyards. Right. Look at the Western junkyard. And when people want to argue that you should treat something with respect, they try and say you should treat it as a subject, which is where you get to say a lot of animist movements in environmentalism. Things get a little weird here because you have some Western environmentalist movements localize the climate crisis in the subject-object distinction and the Westerners' notion that the world is full of objects. Others, on the other hand, actually go almost the opposite. They locate it in the notion of being, familiar to Westerners from the time of Plato. And actually, well, I'm not supposed to see this particular chest or biome this early on. Well, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. I leave it to you, sir. Leaving it to me. But yeah, a lot of Westerners, there's really been a critical reaction against being in the West, or amongst Western philosophers. Sorry, not obviously, you are not finding opponents to being at your Starbucks. And so there's some philosophers now who think that the solution to the climate crisis is to understand the world as an endless cycle of becoming. A la Nietzsche, world's greatest environmental thinker, him. I'm not really sympathetic to either. I think being exists, and I'm not opposed to animism, to be very clear. But I'm not, I think it's more a way of behaving towards things rather than it is a propositional attitude. Like, you can acknowledge that the world is full of subjects and still treat them like crap if you're a douchebag. These are not contradictory impulses. There's plenty of people out there you know are subjects just like yourself and still treat like crap. Trust me, bros. It's more and more about standards, if that makes sense. I think it's back to draw this all back to Starbound, where you got all these things that let you build new and more exciting objects. Interestingly enough, there is no way, that's the wrong one, there is no way to create new life through the regular mechanics of the game. So it's not, actually, I shouldn't say you can do that in Minecraft, because I think people have to do that with, not mods. They have to do it with a special program, but Minecraft, a lot of it involves creating creepers, stuff like that. I do not actually know of any method to do that with Starbound. It's all about objects, and it is very much about your attitude to objects as a player. All right, caves. I want to do a full lecture about caves sometime shortly. A lot of interesting stuff about the philosophy of caves. Spatial understandings are back on the rise in the West, which is nice. It's still pretty awkward, but at least they're back. Guess who's back? Back again. But a lot of ancient philosophies, had very, very specific theories about certain features of the topography. And caves in particular, the symbolism of the cavern is obvious, right? It's a liminal space. It's also a chthonic space because it's connected to the underworld, which is why you'll notice it is not identical, but certainly very similar imagery, all the way from in Aztec philosophy, where you find it associated with initiations, into Greek philosophy, where you find it associated with initiations, and then Chinese philosophy, guess what it's associated with there? Dragons. Yeah. Yeah, dragons. Dragons in the earth. I have not found, speaking of, I found any weapons. Oh, this is going to be fun. Still no weapons. Yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, dragons in China. Oh, actually, I'll save that for the dragon lecture. I'll save that for it's gotten pushed back again, probably for 2 weeks. We're probably going to discuss Adrian Mayer and the problem with geoarchaeology next week. So maybe we'll do dragons next week and Adrian Mayer the week after. And then tentatively we are committed to discussing... Oh, that would have been handy a little earlier, eh? Tentatively we're committed to discussing Atlantis. Not the week after that, because I'm out of the country, but on a work trip. But certainly later. Certainly later. And certainly soon. But yeah, I'll have to message him. See, because he knows more about caves in the Aztec and Mayan philosophical traditions, which I know a little about. My area of expertise. Whereas I myself know much more about the sort of understanding of caverns in Taoism, where it's sort of the original classical Chinese for an acupoint in the West is called cave path. And there's a definite microcosmic, macrocosmic link between the earth tunnels through which dragons move in feng shui and the tunnels through which the qi moves in the body. Those familiar with cultivation are having an oh moment because of the connection between qi and the serpent. Especially in more recent, like after the influence of India, where you start getting a lot more, what do they call it, Kundalini? Which is not a topic I know much about, so probably not going to confine myself on that one. Going to confine myself on that one. But yeah, and then I know more, definitely know more about caverns in Greece. Weird, actually, caverns in Greece are really weird. Because they're associated with the underworld, and associated with prophecy. But the interesting thing is the Greeks claimed that it was mephitic fumes in the caverns that assisted in the visions, which led a lot of early scholars to go, oh yeah, hallucination, right? Which would make sense, except then they go and they start analyzing these caves and they can find no evidence of mephitic fumes. So it's like, what were they talking about? Same with the Etruscans, actually. The Etruscans, a lot of Etruscan religious activity and religious philosophy is centered around caverns. Again, purportedly releasing mephitic fumes, but there's no evidence of any actual fumes. Which is fascinating stuff. Raises a lot of questions, like, was there some reason they wanted to pretend there were fumes? Or were there actually fumes back then? And what does that mean, I guess, for ecology? But yeah, a lot of visionary gods. It's connected to like volcanoes and weird gases. in Greece and the Italic Peninsula, modern day Italy. So you'll probably talk about that. Get your torches back. Keep them in stock. You don't really need tents, especially once you're all powerful and can wade through planets full of magma, swinging your mighty laser sword at all who dare to stand in your path. You should have enough iron ore for a weapon to forge it. Muy perfecto. But yeah. This, of course, is not a cave. At least, well, it is. It's an artificial cave. Underground cities don't have so much of an impact in philosophy. Not much to... I know a little bit about the archaeology, because some of them do exist. Some of them do exist. There's some very impressive remainders in Greece. And I cannot remember the term. They used to be called the Anasazi. They don't like that word because it's a offensive exonym, which is fair. That's 100% fair. I cannot remember the name they like to be called now, but the Anasazi natives in, I want to say the southern United States. I want to say it's the southern United States. Yeah, they built some really interesting cities inside cave systems, which unfortunately I just know so little about. So little time, so much to learn. Absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Just got a budget. Right now I am zeroing in on Greek heroism and Sumerian scholarly traditions of the occult, or the esoteric, I should say, because they probably the one or culture or philosophical tradition which most tried to blend what we would think of as we would call it the occult in Western media. To them, this was just their knowledge. And that raises a lot of interesting questions, right? Because knowledge, the term for knowledge is science, obviously not that I'm going to call astrology and physiognomy sciences in the modern sense of the word, because you guys will flame me alive, that's fine. But occult, on the other hand, means hidden. It basically refers to, whatever knowledge in a society, whatever ways of getting knowledge in a society, and we will lay aside the question of whether any of these things are ways of getting knowledge, actually count. So you'll often see, like, oracle cards called occult. That's not really true. Just because you can't really do that in business, but nobody really cares if you have an oracle card. I tend to think hardline ascetic activity is probably more occult in the technical sense, because that one you can get in legal trouble for, especially if you're recommending some of the more traditional stuff. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it's what we're studying at the moment. So, having a blast. It's really fun. It is absolutely amazing getting to be a scholar or live a scholarly life in this century. No idea how fortunate we are in that respect, especially if you want to be a philosopher, because if you want to be a philosopher in, medieval Europe, what's your philosophical material? It's whatever you can get your hands on in medieval Europe, which is going to be mostly medieval Christian works, the church fathers, a tiny handful of Greek works and some poorly translated Jewish stuff. You want to do it? Oh, well, that was nice. Poison. You want to get into philosophy nowadays. Not only do you have access to like expert scholarly editions of whatever you want, right? You can study philosophies that the medievals weren't aware of, like Assyria or Sumeria or the Aztecs, and by extension what all these other people didn't have access to. And it just absolutely opens your mind, blows you away. Not that I'm a big Aztec fan, but I think there's more going on there than there is in a lot of French philosophies, which were treated with far more respect than they deserve. But yeah, a lot of fascinating reflections on the nature of gratitude and sacrifice in the Aztec faith. Funnily enough, a lot of it parallels Paul, just in a really weird way. Because rather obviously, Paul did not promote. Yeah, I don't think I need to finish that one. But yeah. I can read ancient Chinese. Heck, I can read. Maybe I should, but actually, you know what? I should probably sit down and do a reading of some Sumerian works at some point. That would be a fun stream. Read some of their works on, like, dialogue on pessimism. Very famous, that one. Very often misunderstood. Discuss, like, the Atrahasis and the Sumerian, very distinctive Sumerian view of intelligence. And I'm just going to skip the messages because this isn't a playthrough, right? So if anyone does want, I'm sure you can find lovely playthroughs. Yeah, it's like, look for core fragments. We got core fragments. We have done that one. We are just here to pass through the quests. Oh, I have to open all this stuff again. No. So much work here. 10 copper bars. Tragic. You need all this stuff to unlock your special abilities. You don't need this one. This building does nothing, but at least Baby Bear looks really happy when you give him his teddy bear. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Baby Bear gets his teddy bear. The rest of it's just totally incidental. That's the real motif of the game. Oh, shoot. I did not open the other teleporter. Force a habit, eh? You're like, oh, I got that stuff already. Sumerian philosophy. Should do some Sumerian philosophy. Because they connected intelligence to the divine. There's absolutely beautiful passage in the Atrahasis on how man has so man is the body of clay mixed with the blood of a god, and this is a sort of sign upon his soul, and let him show gratitude to the god. But man gets his intelligence from the divine. So thrust of this game, you're fighting something called the Ruin. You have to open this gateway, and I'm just going to skip. She's basically giving us exposition here about, we're a member of the Protectors. Earth has been blown to smithereens. No, not Earth. Not Earth, no. I can skip through this, but it's probably not hugely important if there's nobody here. It's just me talking to myself for half an hour. I think I saw somebody come in for 30 seconds, and then I got flustered and he left. But it's okay. Yeah, she discovered things long forgotten. Long ago, there was a force known as the Cultivator. Ah, yeah, he was a cultivator. And then Harmony reigned, and there was the Ruin. He came court in death. Yeah, he was court in death, as all those wonderful cultivation novels say. Man versus squid. There are no crabs in this game. That's how you know it's not accurate sci-fi. There is nobody evolving to crab. He fought the Ruin. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, we need the 6 Dragon Balls. Dun, dun, dun. Form the key. There should be 7. They made a 7th race. You need 7 Dragon Balls. Boo. Insufficient MacGuffins. Insufficient MacGuffins. Precisely. You can ignore this quest, by the way. It's a very sandboxy game. No real reason to do so, though, because if you complete the quest line, you can open up the ability to raid planets and gain terraforming gear. And that's really fun, because then you can... So this game, you probably recognized it as planets in different types. And then sort of sub-biomes. So we passed briefly through... what do you call it? We passed briefly through the Arctic biome, which that was where I opened all those stone chests. That was the one with the snow. And so, but these biomes, you don't find them everywhere. So once you can sort of we're not doing this quest tonight. You always want to stock up and prep everything before you go on this particular quest. Well, you don't have to. It's just makes things easier, right? So yeah, we'll finish up our gear. We all love gear here. Get a little farm going. I did not. Oh, nice. It's great. Get a set of armor. Probably not right off the bat. But yeah, the more you got, the better, right? Well, no. You can reach a point. A lot of stuff you don't really need. But you can get the... Certainly better for quests. And then, of course, there's the good old stable economy. We all love our stable economies. Don't get too much stuff, especially stuff you don't need. Okay. So we're going to go... First, we're going to get some agricultural gear. So I need another 25 or 45. Mad math skills there, eh? So we need this stuff because we want... And we cannot get... Oh, shoot. I wanted moth traps. Oh, that one's on me. Alright, so we're going to set up a little farm. And here, you see our trees? They're back! I chopped down all these trees and they're back. And because I didn't destroy everything, I can harvest some more. Let me see if I got any more trees to put around. Oh, tragic. All right. So we want sufficient supplies for that quest. We're probably not going to do the quest tonight, mostly because I find that particular quest a little janky, and I'll probably do it alone and meet you guys later when we take care of the flooring. Which we'll have to see. I want to use this game to teach people all about Play-Doh, among other things. My other option was sock puppets. So your two options here are sock puppets and this. Hard choice, eh? Mm-hmm. But yeah, we want to talk about... I've mentioned before on this server, I think part of the problem people have with morality nowadays and with discussions about, what does it mean to be moral, is we've totally lost sight of the purpose and nature of morality. So I'd love to do some streams investigating that, some more. I think it would help you. Like, if we talk about philosophy, I'm not a pragmatist. Like, I will sit here and talk about subjects people could not care less about for hours. But I do like, I guess, focusing in on stuff that can actually help people rather than what you call like philosophical entertainment. Which isn't to say I'm going to try to tell you how the world is, but I'm going to try to give you the tools to discover that for yourself. Opening up new vistas of inquiry is one of the best ways to do that. Like, as I mentioned earlier, I think people struggle with the nature of morality nowadays. It's just been Bowdlerized so badly, mostly by people who want to use it for their own private ends. And then you have, this is an excellent spot to put our farm. Okay. Sorry, you have people. Then you have people who just want to be self-righteous dicks about it. Which is always unfortunate, not because I'm such a diehard. Tragic. Not because I'm such a diehard moralist, but I think we are happier when we are at least trying to be decent people. I think we get along much better. But yeah, we'll talk about Plato, because Plato's interesting because it's 3 different ways of doing morality. Right. And thinking about morality, you have the distinction between what we now call morality and the Greek doctrine of arete. The two aren't quite... Oh, shoot. I should make snacks. Sorry, the two aren't quite the same. Like, arete is much more all-inclusive? I don't know if that's the right word. Possibly. Like, it just means excellence, right? I wanted to set up a flag here. Makes it easier to beam down to later. Oh, except I can't because I think I know my teleporter's working. My teleporter's working. All right. But then you also, later on, you get Plato. He makes this distinction, or his followers make this distinction. Always an ambiguous question when it comes to Plato, who's doing what. Between civic virtue and purifying virtue. Oh yeah, we have food. Absolutely. I'm playing on easy mode, mostly because I'm not really paying attention. Like, I have my head in the clouds right now talking about philosophy, so I don't want to... I want to do some hard mode stuff and then just randomly die horribly. It's like, I don't even know where I am. Yeah, distinction between, I guess, civic and purifying virtue, and the extent to which one is necessary, and, well, both are sort of necessary but one is more necessary to who we are as people, and the other is more necessary to who we are as semi-divine or divine entities. Ooh, this is why you put torches. Look at this. Muy magnifique, non? C'est majestique, messieurs. Eh oui, oui. But yeah, you need, after you develop purifying virtue, you get civic virtue. And it's not my view. Like, I think it's false. I think there's problems with a lot of Plato. But it's a beautiful view, and I think it might help people just to think about stuff like that, eh? That's a lot of philosophy is just sitting there and imagining what ifs. At least that's the way it works best for me. You're like, what if I was a Confucian? People get mad at me for this. They're like, no, you can only be what you are. You don't have the ability to imagine you're any of these other things. It's like, but you just gotta take it seriously. Right. Yes, I mean, it's hard. It's not easy. You can't do it if you don't know what you're talking about, for instance. And I think it's definitely a skill rather than empathy or whatever people call it. But it's something you can do. And it's just fun. And, if you're doing intellectual activity, why wouldn't you want it to be fun? Right? People are like, oh, intellectual activity is boring. But that's just because they've never asked themselves what would happen if they tried to combine Confucian esotericism with Plato's political project as a means of creating a new aesthetic. Just not living the philosophical fun life is what that is. And become boors. Can no longer even contemplate why gnomes are absolutely integral to any good philosophy. Once more reminding you of our channel's cardinal rule. Fairies are real. I'll put some torches around, make things a little clearer for get some copper. Oh, this is not copper, this is iron. Alrighty. So let's see if I can't get nice. I think I need 17. Okay, so we got. No, I'm gonna actually want this. Because we got some more iron. Forge are here. There. Alright. Do you like that? Did you like that memory? Ugh. Okay, this is just going to boost your stats. This is not nice. It's not going to help much, but little is better than nothing. Alright, so we got 2 gold, 8 copper, 6 silver. Why am I bringing this up? Because we need 10. You remember we got that quest earlier, and we want 10 of each of gold, silver, and copper in order for us to unlock our magic powers. Excuse me, the special abilities that are Is it the manipulator module? I can't remember what the in-game explanation is for them. I've been developing. The in-game explanation is its technology. I've been developing technology that will enable the user to swiftly dash from one point to another, but I'm lacking a few crucial components for my prototype. Alrighty. Fun, that, eh? But yeah, we want that stuff because that'll make our quest much easier. Stuff like having the ability to jump. Yeah, you see it took us how many blows to kill those things last time, and this time it died in one. What do you want to call this? Fairies are real. Is allowed here. All right. So we are going to go on to a magic quest. I already opened that. Into the bowels of the earth. First, we're going to kill him. He is courting death. He has challenged this great one. I have already passed through. I mean, this is like getting your hands on some armor is like the first stage of key refining. So these are all jokes about Zhanja. For those who are sitting there like, he's not making a joke about like TCM or no, I'm making, these are all jokes about Zhanja. Don't worry about it. Okay. But yeah, Zhanja, we've passed. We have entered into key refining. This is our gaining the initial level 1 armor. This is like basically immortal, even though it's just the initial level 1 armor. Actually, I'm just going to leave that there in case I die and have to find my way back. Alrighty. Alrighty. I cannot reach that. Oh, that's nice. Sometimes you walk off those little ledges there and you just vanish, and then you take 300 damage. Like that. Just like that. Passing through, we're going to, I cannot pick up some silt. There's, oh yes, sand. In life, I believe I've mentioned before on this channel, a lot of life is about the foundations. Screw the fancy stuff. I mean, it's useful. You want to know 1 or 2 fancy tricks. It's always nice how to make that subtle distinction that just screws your enemy over in his philosophical plans. And then he's sitting there cursing your superior genius. But generally it's a lot of brutal stuff. Usually I only use the same 2 or 3 rules of logic. Or not even rules of logic, the rules of like informal reasoning. Like, so I appeal a lot to constancy or consistency in argumentative analysis and into how structures are utilized. I am very insistent on certain features of on feature-based analysis. I think you can leave it on occasion if there's some compelling reason to do so, but in general, I have very little patience for, I don't want to analyze this. I'm going to analyze something else and just call it this. Which is why you'll never see me use armchair psychology. You have no idea how many people still think Freud is a genius in philosophy. It's an absolute embarrassment to the profession. No, you don't understand. He may have been wrong about everything, but he was a brilliant philosopher with his weird pseudoscience. It's like, okay. 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 We are not finding, we're finding copper. That's nice. We needed copper. I get 10 copper bars. So gotta get 10 silver after that. We'll just do it all at once. It just makes things much easier, eh? This is just coal. Not crazy useful, but you know what you can use it for? Secret technique here. You can use it to make more of these babies. And then we want, I don't know, we need 40 of these. They tend to stack up, eh? You use a lot now, and then as you gain more power and have the ability to illuminate a large field, you're like, gee, I don't really need this. But by that time, you have 500,000 of them. And you're like, oh, well, that's nice. That's nice. But yeah. What was I in the middle of? I was talking about... What was I talking about? Something about French philosophy at the time. And then I lost my train of thought in these deep caverns under the earth. Not much to say about French philosophy, though, so we can leave it be. We're cool chaps here. We like the Greek stuff. And chains. Yeah. Into the... Oh, yeah, we were talking about silver. Silver and gold. All those precious metals that I have not found yet. I'm probably not deep enough. Probably just not deep enough. Oh, that was not it. Don't want to ride it too far down because you can't. I mean, you don't. I can just zip back up at any time. Because again, we'll play on easy mode. More so I can yap than because I need to. If you destroy that, ounce of prevention is a pound of cure, right? Destroy that stuff now and you don't get hammered later. Usually by accident when you fail to realize how high you can jump. Or rather, how high you can't jump. Not even going to bother. Actually, in some sense, it was did more world building for this game. Where it's like, why are there? Is there? I guess this is supposed to be avian, eh? This is the avians bird race. Interesting mix of I want to say Egyptian style culture, or sorry, Egyptian style aesthetic with very obviously Aztec cultural elements. A lot of the names, a lot of the I mean, they have all the rights, of course. A lot of stuff about human sacrifice. maybe if we're lucky, we'll find a little altar under the earth, and I can show you some of that stuff more in depth. Probably not, though, because this is the starting planet. As you can see by the fact that we are finding almost nothing. Did I pick up a... I did not pick up a pickaxe. That would have been useful, eh? Oh well. It's using Murphy's Law. You always get pickaxes later in the game when you no longer need them, because this little device here, the matter manipulator module, is then powerful enough to blast through stuff. Yeah, now. Okay. That'll help. That way you guys aren't sitting there watching me just spend all my time. Oh, yeah, silver. You're not sitting there watching me spend all my time mining through rock. And again, I think I was in the middle of philosophizing about something and I forgot about it. A bit scatterbrained. I have been up since 3 in the morning. And let's just say it is a great deal later than that. So. And now you're dead. It's okay. We can be cloned. We can be cloned. Oh, yeah. Now, they never ask you in this game, when you're cloned, is it the same version of you that comes back, or is it another nearly identical version, but totally different self? Everyone's favorite philosophical question about the nature of personal identity that we all had to study in year 1. I want to say it's year 1 philosophy. Usually you approach it from the perspective of Derek Parfit. He's the main philosopher for that topic in the current curriculum. There will probably be changes to that sort of thing. I mean, they'll probably bring in Buddhism, to get in their little non-Western kudos. That being said, Buddhism and a lot of Western thinkers on identity are, I want to say close, but pretty close. They'd get farther in terms of opening up students to new ideas if they were to go over some of the scholastics, the medieval Catholic thinkers. They had some very convoluted, shall we say, theories about the nature of personal identity. I would say it's Duns Scotus. Somebody asked me about Duns Scotus on the last stream, and all I could remember about the guy, because I'm not a medieval philosophy expert by any means. It's definitely on the low end of stuff I know. All I could remember was the Haseity quiddity distinction of Duns Scotus, which is Duns Scotus' ability. He wants to explain why genuses exist. Not geniuses, genuses, as in like classes of beings, humans, cats, marshmallows, and why unique individuals exist simultaneously. But I could be totally wrong. I could be confusing them with some other medieval thinker. Somebody's probably going to be making a nasty review of this and be like, how dare he confuse Duns Scotus with John of Salisbury? And for that very upset reviewer who is hell-bent on protecting the neo-scholastic heritage, I am sorry. I just am ignorant about your medieval traditions. I can't even remember how I got on this tangent. Oh man. I'm probably going to... I don't know how much longer we're going here with how scatterbrained I am tonight. Usually I at least remember how I got to a certain part of the conversation, but evidently not. Evidently not. I know, what was it? Just earlier, right before I died, I was talking about... oh yeah, I guess it was Aztecs. Yeah, they don't really do a fidelitous understanding of philosophy in the game. you can tell the game designers of a very set narrative. You get it with a lot of sci-fi, eh? Sort of the whole Star Trek techno-humanist narrative. It is what it is. It's just a shame. So we will be philosophizing without the help of the plot. Hence, I mean, I can't skip much of the plot, but at least not much more. Is what it is. But yeah, you'll notice that when we get to if I find any avian settlements, again, these are the bird people, I'll pull up their books. This game is books, and you can see what I mean. A bit of a shame. I've always wanted a sci-fi that investigated some of these questions in depth, but they are in tragically short supply. Except I have a friend who's always trying to get me to read C.J. Cherry. He's like, she asks all these questions you complain about. It's like, one day I'll read C.J. Cherry. Yeah. Not having much luck in our find gold and silver fetch quest. It is here. Like, it's in the... Unfortunately, we died before we could get to the deeper levels of the planet. Which is where you are. Oh. I mean, you're more likely, but here we go. Some silver. I just gotta complain. Yeah. Just gotta complain some more, and then we will find more. I'm just gonna destroy this. Just gotta complain. Murphy's Law, right? There is absolutely no way I'm tripping over 5 tons of gold. And then you get hit by a monster. Oh, well, there's some copper. Usually I play this game myself and I don't mind the dark. But if I have people watching, they probably... I don't know if I do have anyone watching right now. Yeah, nope. Oh, well. Usually people want... they want their light. They want their light. Can't blame them. There's only so many of us who enjoy playing video games in the dark. Man, oh. Tragic. Okay. Let's see if we can't get back up there. And laugh at that guy. Trying to attack us while we escape. Because I'm probably going to die immediately. But if I don't die immediately, this is good for the item story. Oh, shoot. We'll see if we can. Yeah, probably going to die immediately upon landing. Yeah. So we still do not have enough silver. That's 9 silver. Do not have enough. We have not found any gold. Probably because we keep dying. I probably just need to dig a dedicated mine shaft. That's always a piss off. Or I can just take the L. And do the quest. Do the quest without the appropriate spelunking gear. should help. Darn, apparently I missed a lot the first time I went down here. That's a shame. So, yeah. Such as that. These are fossils. They're not a lot of use to us now because you don't really need bones. But you can use them. You can make some nice collections with them. Yeah, getting meat. It's the crafting ingredients you want. It saves you a lot of bother because you don't have to do any farming later on. Otherwise, you have to. Oh, how do I put this? You have to get. I can't show you because the machine is broken. But you have to get this something called a mushi. Not a mushi. Fluffers? Something like that. I cannot remember what it's called. But yeah, it's hold up. Some life advice for anyone who wants to play this game, I guess. So yeah, this isn't going to open until we complete this guy's quest. I cannot remember when this one opens, but that's where you get teleporters. The other one's ship upgrades. Here's where you go for farming equipments. Especially animals. If you cannot find rare crafting ingredients, which you can get through bows and spears and whatnot, either throwing spears or spears like this, then you will use the you will use the oh yeah, you'll use the farming shelter. But better not to do that because that just makes things more complex. Albeit useful later on, because you probably having to do that anyways. It's you see, remember earlier I mentioned you could terraform? That's this guy. This is not my real name, don't worry. And he will trade it for stuff. So make sure some stuff you need. Alright. We've been going about an hour and we've had, I think, 2 people. So I'm going to call it for the evening. I will see you all on Sunday to talk about esoteric theory, or hold up, the nature of esoteric knowledge, and especially claims people have to be awakened or to have left the Matrix as a way to, privilege their own knowledge. And why that's sort of a mistake, because mainly because they're mistaking positions for virtues. Very common error. Not universal, right? But yeah, without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this. Please feel free to like, subscribe, send this to all your family members, smooch it. Always remember that fairies are real, and have a wonderful evening.